Hello peoples and welcome to another episode of Esoterica Cinema. My name is Ryan Seybold, and today I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about the 2024 psychological thriller Heretic. The film pits two young door-to-door Mormon evangelist women played by Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East against a seemingly harmless and all too willing to listen homeowner played by Hugh Grant as they embark on a cat and mouse game questioning faith and religion and go into a basement together. That's, I think, it, yeah? Okay, cool. It's written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who previously wrote A Quiet Place, and it's produced under the stable of A24. Now, I saw this film in the theater recently, and at first I had a hard time parsing out what I did and didn't like about it. But I think I found some conclusions, and I'm going to dissect this by bringing back an old staple of the show from years past, pros and cons. First, let's talk about some pros. The most obvious being the dangerously charming performance of Hugh Grant as Mr. Reed. I love this Grant show so much that I gave it its own review video that I'll link below, but suffice it to say that I truly in my heart believe he is why most people like this movie. I think you could whittle a majority of his dialogue down to a rant your stoner friend with blacklight posters would have given you in college.
There's some spooky stuff going on a dollar bill, man.
But Grant's delivery here was so damn captivating. His innocent smile would disarm you, then he'd go in for the kill. It was so much fun to watch. I'd add to that my next pro, which is the cinematography by Chung-Hoon Chung. You should absolutely know him as longtime Park Chan-wook collaborator, lensing everything from Oldboy to The Handmaiden. But he's been crushing it with Western cinema lately, shooting films like One Night in Soho and It. In Heretic, his style pairs so well with the show Grant is giving as a dance between close-ups and wide shots along with the ever-changing color palettes. I loved how the film opened in innocent white tones and then seeing the gradient switches between nice and warm safety to green I wouldn't do that to the cold blue of oh hell no. We at the show have been longtime fans of Chung-Hoon's work, and I was excited to see it on display here. Okay, let's get to some of the cons, which is kind of everything else. Let's zoom out to 30,000 feet and examine the premise, for example. Did he set all this up for this one-time encounter? Has he been doing all this to other evangelists? The church elders seem to have a pretty solid system of checking in and out for these women, so you think someone would have noticed if people were missing. Also, at one point Mr. Reed brings in this malnourished old woman and has her eat a poison-laced pie. Then, while the girls are distracted, he swaps her out with another matching old woman, still alive, to simulate a resurrection. And then later in the film, we go deeper into his lair to find out he's got like a dozen of these old gals in cages. Where did he get this stable of crones he's using to perform this illusion? I would love to see a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern-style version of all of this, with Mr. Reed rushing around behind the scenes to pull all this off like an episode of The Bear.
Do you even know how to do fries?
And like, what's his villain origin story anyways? He just overstudied religion and got frustrated and decided to collect some crones and booby-trap his house with metal lining and door timers? Was he excommunicated from the church and went rogue? Or maybe he was fired from Parker Brothers and worked out an evil Monopoly monologue. How many blueberry pie-scented candles does he have? And I can't forget the oh-so-ham-fisted Chekhov's board with nails in it that comes back at the end. It's not lost on me that Reed was literally taken out by a board game. All of this leading to an ambiguous ending involving one of the dead girls showing back up as a butterfly, implying reincarnation. So I guess after all of the ranting about which religion was real, survey says it was Hinduism and Buddhism. All the other religions can go home now. Thanks for playing.
You lose!
Like I said at the top of the show, I was kind of torn on this at first, but I'm going to have to side on the opinion that this is kind of a dumb movie overall, as it quickly falls apart for me at the slightest bit of consideration. It's solely stilted up by its style as well as Grant's performance, which I've given its own mini review, so make sure to check that out. I'm giving this film 2.5 stars overall. Well, that's it for me. Make sure to like and subscribe and come back for more right here on Esoterica Cinema!